be a little bit challenging to get all the words out, but I'm going to do the best that I can. But I just wanted to talk about how I think it's so beautiful the way that when we gather together, how we can be expressive and express our emotions, and what we are purging, and how also, like, something I said recently about duality was, I think it's definitely a very important part of healing is to be able to express our duality in safe spaces. And when I was saying how, mastering duality and coming to a place of neutrality, that's also very important. But when I was saying how, like, empaths can get overwhelmed, I was more overwhelmed with duality. I was more speaking on, like, extremes where when people are healing, or when people express certain views, or where we have differences, this whole, like, this criticism, condemnation, judgment, attacking energy that is part of that extreme that empaths can feel, that, and it's important to speak on and transcend and transform. And overall, I feel like I'm in a place of being the observer where I don't have these, like, strong emotional reactions overall. I mean, yes, I've had to purge some at times when I feel attacked or in the past, but overall I feel like I'm coming more and more to that place of just being the observer and being in that neutral place and being able to hold space. And what I first noticed about the sketch was this, like, lotus flower, and obviously it's very big. It has many, many, many petals, and I saw the lotus flower meaning, like, all of the collective that are coming into this, like, taking what we've been through, the harshness of this world, and then grounding. Like, this is like a cord that's grounding into the core of Mother Earth. And I saw this as Gaia. I originally saw this as Gaia and the Mother Earth, like the core of Mother Earth. And when we send our negativity down to Mother Earth, she completely neutralizes it. She completely, like, it doesn't matter what it is. You could send so much rage or anger or sadness or fear, and it doesn't matter. She would never judge. She would never criticize. She would never and she's a real energy, a real being that exists within the core of Mother Earth. And whatever we send, we can send that energy to her, and it doesn't even affect her. She just completely neutralizes it back to light. And so you see this, like, unconditional love within the core of Gaia. And someone had mentioned that one time, that, like, as healers, when you truly step into a more whenever we level up as healers, we learn to take on energy but not let it become us. We just take it on and then neutralize it. But we all have to know where our boundaries are around that, and what our limitations are, and how to refill our cup. But the more we balance giving back to ourselves, the more we're able to hold space for whatever is purging, and being around other people to hold space for what is purging in their lives without taking it on so much, but being able to neutralize it and not necessarily have it, like, literally be taken on in a negative way to where we are overburdened by it. And I think that that's something I'm always leveling up in, is being able to hold space but not taking on too much. but also like almost having a sense of joy in being able to help and give and serve in that way. So it almost like fuels me in a way to be able to know that I can go in places and help hold a frequency like that gives me joy. Like even if there is negativity around me or negative vibrations, as long as I'm able to stay neutral and stay in my own vibration and not take on too much, then I enjoy it. It gives me a sense of fulfillment to help in that way. And so I just thought that was really important. But there are times where, like, as part of being a healer is also sometimes we have to speak hard truths that people don't always want to hear. If people are constantly coming back with the same story, the same repeated pattern, the same energy, then yes, we have to speak up on how to transmute that and transform that. And sometimes I've been in relationships with people that I would try to show, they would constantly come to me with the same energy, the same story, and they felt safe to express themselves. But sometimes I had to be assertive, and sometimes I had to put in a boundary, be saying, I can't go over the same story, and if you're not going to listen to me, then, you have to put in boundaries, because people have to want to change. People have to want to do the work. And that's the other side of this sketch that I saw was, if you see it in the negative aspect, that this is Gaia, and the positive aspect, the green is like the heart, and the pink is the higher heart, and Gaia is Gaia's eyes and her mouth, and like I said, she takes on the energy. But the other side of this is there are people that don't want to do the work. There are people that want to be in the energy of people that are there to help and transmute and take on, but they just want to like pull, like this is the cord, a dark cord pulling into that energy, and you see this like darkness. It's like the green-eyed monster of like people. There's nothing wrong with like feeling jealousy or envy, but it's like what we do with that. Like, are we willing to work on what causes those emotions within us to feel jealousy or envy, and then do the work to transmute it? But like, if we're just like stealing that energy from people who have done the work, and we're not going to do the work ourselves, and we're just trying to take it for our own, because like the dark side of certain shades of greens, like the murky kind of shades of green, like obviously it's not really shown there, but you see like the dark and the green next to each other can represent energies of like that, like I said, that jealousy of either we can feel inspired by the good we see in people, and then it can aspire us to want to do the work to become that, because the good you see in somebody's also in you. The light that I see in you is the light that is in me. So, when we see good in other people, we can either be inspired by that and want to become like that and do the work, or we can let it affect us in a way that we become negative, controlling, manipulative, deceptive, mean, shutting people down, just aggressive, all those different things that are the extremes of duality that I'm talking about. But it's not necessarily like when we're purging together in safe spaces, like if someone's expressing some deep part of them that needs healing, like, and then someone on the other side of the room attacks that person for feeling that, that's where I think is important to hold boundaries, because we need to be able to feel our emotions and transmute and purge. And I was just at an event last night too, where people were sharing their poetry and expressing all of their feelings and things they've been through, and just like so much of their messages were just so deeply resonant, resonating, and it was beautiful to see that people are just being authentic and being real. And I love that, and I see that intention, and I see when people use certain need to feel these denser vibrations to transmute it. And I'm, like I said, I'm patient and understanding and empathic with that. It's only when somebody just like is using the same repeating pattern or cycle to attack someone's beliefs or attack my beliefs or attack other beliefs that I have to set boundaries around. And I am leveling up more to become neutral, to where if that is presenting itself in my reality in more extreme ways in the future, that it just won't have an effect on me like it did in the past. And then I just continue to be able to stay in this vibration of unconditional love and support for my community and for people around me, and to be safe, to feel and to express and to be authentic, and always with the motive and intention and vision to become more non-dualistic, go and overcoming these patterns to level up to this more 0.5D and up experience. Because once we become in 5D, fully 5D and up, we don't have hate, fear, criticism, condemnation, judgment. We just have pure love and just manifesting our joy, our freedom to be playful and fun and expressive in that way. So that's what I really sensed with this sketch. That's the frequency I sensed with this sketch, and I felt like it was important to share because I was feeling something with that. Well, I just observed someone on social media that is androgynous, and they express, even though they're male, they express a lot of their feminine energy. But there was just something around that person where they were receiving a lot of hate and criticism and judgment and I just kind of got into this place of just like feeling empathy for certain situations where people get attacked, and it's those extremes where that empaths can get overwhelmed. But like I said, I just always come back to that place of transmuting and place of neutrality, and I hope that more and more that we as a community can come to these places as well, and giving people a safe place to express, and also just know that like if someone expresses something in the moment, that it's not always personal. It's like sometimes people tend to take things personally, and that's one thing that can hold us back from being in that spiral, that upward spiral of unconditional love, of being the healer, of being this safe place for people to come to neutralize and purge these denser emotions. And if we take things too personally, then we're in our ego, we're not in our heart. We have to learn to just let things go and not harbor resentments and fears and emotions of what people think or what, and I can tend to, because I care so much about people's feelings, I can sometimes maybe think, oh, I hope this person didn't take this the wrong way, but I may ruminate, but quickly I have to learn to just let it go and just be in the now and be in the moment, and realize that we all have our journey, and we may be misunderstood. We are going to be misunderstood, and misunderstandings always happen because we don't always see the full representation of where that person may be coming from, and that's normal, and it's okay to have misunderstanding. It's okay to process these things, but to hang on to things, to harbor anger or hatred or resentment toward people in those misunderstandings, that's where we can hold ourselves and others back, and very negative ways. And so it's important to let things go and to forgive and to just be in the now and to embrace people as they are in the now, and just realize that we don't always see the whole picture of what people are trying to say or express, or maybe something they express can come off a certain way when they really meant something in another way. Because I know that there's certain ways that I express things. I'm like, oh, they could have taken it this way, but I really meant it this way. And then sometimes I don't have the energy to go into how I fully meant that, or it's hard to explain like how I've talked about a lot of things in the past that are part of the whole big picture, but it's hard to all constantly bring it in a nutshell. So it's just most important to just continue to express ourselves authentically and not care too much if we're misunderstood, not care too much if people are going to criticize us, because that's going to happen. I know that I'm going to continue to express things, and I'm going to continue to not hold back. And as soon as I get fear of being misunderstood or fear of what people think, then that's when we sink back and we dim our light and we dim down. And that's it's really just the ego, caring too much what people think. And I'm not here to care too much what people think. I'm here to just be real. So I don't want to make this video too long, so that's just kind of in a nutshell what I felt like this meant. Sometimes other meanings can come up, but that's the main meaning that I saw so far. I do see what looks like kind of a Joker energy. Like, I don't know, Joker, like a almost clown. Like, just beware of energies that try to, like I said, distort your truth, or just things that try to hold us back, that mess with our mind. Anytime we're not at peace, it's just a sign to reconnect back to our inner neutrality, not taking things too personally. And yeah, so that's my message for today. And like I said, I have more to come in regards to the slingshot, because I had a lot going on. The slingshot sketch had a lot more going on than I expected, and a lot more to say in connection to that. But we are in a major eclipse window, as well as the Schumann going off like crazy. I'm really feeling it this morning. So rest and integration is very important, and to pace ourselves and not force. I can't force this message. I can't force things to come through. I have to let it to come through naturally and in right timing. So hopefully this was clear and a way that can be helpful. And that's it for the sketch.